You ever had one of those days where you think the universe is just straight up messing with you? But then you realize, nah, it's not the universe. It's just one person who somehow got themselves elected HOA president? Yeah, well, let me back up a sec, because that's exactly how my year went. And trust me, if you've ever tangled with a power-hungry HOA, you're going to want to hear this. Picture it, the smell of leather and old books hanging in the air inside a federal courthouse, me sweating through my shirt as I lay out evidence of straight-up HOA corruption in front of District Judge Jamie. I'm thinking I'm finally making progress, when my phone buzzes, security alert. I glance down and what do I see? Brenda Thornwick, our HOA president, is on camera forcing her way into my lake cabin, just 200 yards away. The audio's picking up the splintering of wood as she boots my back door. Judge Jamie just leans over like, "Is that happening right now?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that happened." What Brenda doesn't know is there are federal agents already surrounding my place. She also doesn't know the judge is watching her commit a felony, live. Oh, and she really doesn't know her 3-year campaign to run military families out of our neighborhood is about to end with her in federal custody. I mean, how often do you catch your enemy red-handed while you're sitting in a federal office with a judge? Talk about timing. What would you do if your HOA president literally broke into your place while you're building a federal case against them? Because let me tell you, when they push a veteran too far, well, that's when things get interesting. So, hey, comment below and tell me where you're watching from. I bet I'm not the only one who's had an HOA nightmare. My name's Marcus Kelly. 6 months ago, I thought I'd finally found paradise, a lakeside cabin in Pine Lake, Montana, been in my family since '67. Weathered cedar, stone fireplace, dock reaching out over water, so clear you can spot the trout 20 feet down. I was living the dream. Early retirement after 3 decades in telecom, a few decent patents, and the plan was to restore the cabin, maybe even turn it into a retreat center for other vets. My wife, Sarah, loved the idea. My teenage daughter, Emma, staked her claim to the loft. Then, I met Brenda Thornwick. You ever meet someone and immediately know, just from the way they grip a leather folder, that you're in trouble? Brenda, always in her blindingly white SUV, face set in permanent disapproval, like life itself had violated her community standards. First thing out of her mouth? "Welcome to Pine Lake. I trust you'll familiarize yourself with our community standards." You know what I mean? That's when I should have run. 3 weeks later, the games began. Certified letter lands in my mailbox, a $1,500 fine for unauthorized structure modifications. The violation? My grandfather's dock extension from 1972. I call Brenda, and she's tapping her manicured nails on the desk, telling me, "Recent satellite imaging revealed non-compliant structures on your property." I explain the dock predates the HOA by 13 years. I've got the building permits, family photos, the works. She's unfazed. At the next HOA meeting, under flickering fluorescence and the smell of burnt coffee, I lay out my evidence. Brenda glances at it and announces, "Grandfathered structures require annual compliance fees, $500 monthly. $6,000 a year for a dock that's been there since before she could spell covenant." Right then, I realize this isn't about rules, it's about getting rid of people like me. After the meeting, old Gladys, quiet as a church mouse, tells me she's seen the same thing happen to other military families. I dig around and find a pattern. Veterans get hit with escalating fines. Then, surprise, their homes get sold through Brenda's real estate company. Coincidence? Yeah, right. 2 weeks later, Brenda shows up with a county inspector named Dale. Stale cigarette smell, cheap aftershave, the whole works. Dale's badge is as crooked as his shirt, and his name's nowhere in the state license database. But he does show up as an agent for, you guessed it, Thornwick Properties. They start racking up violations. $1,500 for electrical noncompliance. $1,200 for the unpermitted fire feature, which is just my grandfather's stone ring, plus $300 a month in monitoring fees. I'm looking at over $4,000, bleeding more every month. Now, I'm no rookie. I switch every interaction to email, document everything, and start running background checks. That's when I set up security cameras around my place. In the first week, I catch Brenda and Dale at my dock at 11 p.m., measuring, photographing, building a file. Even worse, they're doing the same thing at 3 other veterans' homes. Always at night, always when nobody's watching. Only, this time, someone is watching. But Brenda's not stopping. The fines pile up. A lawyer letter arrives. Fake firm, bad website, threats of property liens if I don't cough up almost $8,000 in 30 days. So, I hit the courthouse, start digging up old HOA documents. Turns out, most of Brenda's rule changes never had proper approval. Devil's in the details, right? And then I start reaching out to the families who'd been driven out. Pete, a Desert Storm vet, tells me he got the same playbook: fines, bogus violations, forced to sell for $180,000. Then Brenda flips his place for $320,000 3 months later. The threats escalate. My mailbox gets tagged "Troublemaker" in red spray paint. Notes appear on my windshield. Military types don't belong. Emma's asking if we can move. Sarah flinches at every noise. It's psychological warfare. And then there's an attempted break-in, caught on camera, with Brenda's SUV idling at the end of my road. That's when Sarah says, "This isn't about money anymore. This is personal. You want a twist?" The attempted break-in gets the attention of someone who can actually do something. Turns out, Gladys, the old neighbor, her son-in-law's a federal judge. Suddenly, I'm sitting in Judge Jamie's chambers in Helena, staring at a map peppered with red pins. 23 HOAs across 3 states, all using the same playbook to target veterans. He shows me subpoenas for financial records from Brenda's business. Operation Clean Sweep is already rolling. Now, the plan is, I keep playing the harassed, desperate homeowner while federal agents gather evidence. I'm wired up, the cabin's blanketed with hidden cameras, and my neighbors, Vietnam vet Chuck, Korea vet Bill, and Linda from Desert Storm, are all quietly documenting Brenda's every move. We're building a RICO case, federal civil rights violations, mail fraud, the works. Brenda doesn't know the feds are watching her try to destroy me in real time. And right on cue, Brenda escalates. Midnight power line sabotage knocks out 4 veteran families' homes. Water line gets ruptured a few days later, thousands in emergency repairs. Anonymous flyers go up around town. Do you feel safe with unstable veterans in your community? Even contractors stop extending me credit, all thanks to Brenda's behind-the-scenes calls. But every move is recorded, traced, and built into a federal indictment. Then comes the endgame. I make sure word gets around that I'll be out of town, but really, I'm holed up in the judge's office, watching live feeds. Brenda and Dale break into my cabin, plant fake extremist literature, drug paraphernalia, forged threats. Federal cameras catch it all: audio, video, every whisper. When they leave, the feds move in and arrest them, right there on my property. With Brenda's arrest, everything comes out. 43 HOAs in her network, over 200 veteran families targeted, millions laundered through real estate shells. Dale flips, gives up the whole operation. The news explodes. Biggest housing discrimination case in U.S. history. I stand on the courthouse steps while the U.S. attorney lays it out for the cameras. 47-count indictment, millions seized, restitution for every family. Brenda's face on national news, orange jumpsuit and all. 6 months later, Pine Lake is a different world. Brenda gets 18 years. Her empire's gone, every dollar seized. I'm HOA president now, transparency, live-streamed meetings, anti-discrimination rules written in stone. Property values skyrocket. Military families come here because they know we have their backs. Every July, we hold a Freedom Day cookout, the smell of barbecue and laughter echoing off the water. The scholarship fund we started sends kids like Maria Santos, whose Army dad was run out of 3 towns, to college. And every morning, I drink my coffee on the dock that almost cost me everything, grateful we turned a nightmare into the kind of community my grandfather always believed in. So, yeah, sometimes fighting back means wiring up and letting the feds do their thing. Sometimes it's neighbors standing together and saying enough. And sometimes, justice comes wearing a badge and carrying a stack of subpoenas. What about you? You got a story about HOA madness? Lines they crossed, laws they broke? Drop your wildest HOA story in the comments. Who knows? Maybe yours is the next one that brings down a bully. Hit like, subscribe, ring the bell, because trust me, I've got more HOA war stories, and you won't want to miss what's coming next.